Hello and welcome to this lesson. My name is Rodolfo Novello and I'd like to talk to you about ASP.NET MVC Views. If you have previously created any web applications in some of the other technologies, you have come to expect a physical file on disk for each page on your application. In MVC, the resulting responses to a URL are generated on the fly by controller actions. Here in this example, we can see that the home controller has an index action that returns an action result type. Now the controller takes the responsibility of creating the response HTML with the help of view templates. We saw this in action in the About controller. If you remember, we created a few actions in the controller that returned regular HTML. You remember when we ran the About controller with the hello action with an ID, we could see, let's see, if we say about hello and Alan, we get the response that we expected, which happens to be just regular HTML. Okay, now let's see what the views look like and how we can create one. Let's go back to the test controller where we created two actions. One is index, the other one is details. Let's create a view for the details action. So we right click on the name itself and we add a view. We're going to call it details. We don't have any templates and we're going to use the razor syntax. So when we hit OK, immediately we see that it was created right here. Okay, under the views folder, it created the details. All views can be based on a general layout that we have right under views, under shared. This is the share layout that all views can share. Okay. In this case, the layout is null. Let's change that. So we're going to replace null with quotes views shared underscore layout dot CSHTML. Okay, so now all our details view will be based on the layout, and the layout, it doesn't have much. Let's change the let's just add something here. Hello. Okay, this is the layout. Tab title. Okay, we can remove this. We already saw what it does. So we can see on our web page that the tab title will be, this is the layout tab title. Okay. At this point, we don't have any information on the details that we need to display. So, but just to go step by step, let's create an H1 and type here No details yet. H1. Okay. Let's see what happens. So we want to go to test details. Let's go to no details yet. Okay, so let's put some information in there, what normally would happen. And let me tell you the very few easy steps that we need to take to get there. If you remember, in a previous video we saw how to pass from the controller to the view a strongly typed model. Let's do that. You remember the keyword model? That's going to tell us what type is actually coming in. If you remember, we already have a model that is defined in this class. Okay, so it's MVC intro models, MVC model item. Item is the object type that we're transferring to our view. Okay, so this view is expecting one item of this type. Okay. Since we're getting one item, we can reference it by the add transition character that gives us access to C# code. In this case, the model object that contains the item that we're expecting. So we want, actually this is what we want. We want ID colon model dot ID. Then we want name at model dot name, and then we want quantity at model dot QTY. Okay, you remember our object has these three properties. Okay, so now one more step. The controller has to pass that information to the view. So our test controller, as you can see, it doesn't have, it is not passing anything here. Actually, it needs to pass an item. Okay, and let's get that item from our model. You remember we have the get items method that is going to give us all of the items. Let's just keep it simple. We could create another method in here that would give us only one, but let's keep it simple. There's the test controller. What we want to do is MVC model dot get items, and we want to put that under, it's going to return a list of the items. So list of items equals, so we're getting a list of items, but we need to transfer to the view only one item, which would be the one that matches the ID. So this is what we can do. Var item equals list of items dot where, and then right here we need a lambda expression to extract the item that matches the ID. So we can say given an item give me an item ID, where an item where it is equal to the input parameter, and we want only one. So it would be first or default. So this link expression is going to get us an item where the item ID matches the ID of the parameter that actually the controller is receiving from the request. Okay, let's okay, now let's check if the view looks good. The view is receiving a model of type item, and we are extracting from the object, the ID, the name, and the quantity, and we're presenting them on the page. Let's see if it's going to work as expected. Okay, first of all, you see that this is the layout tab title, because we changed that, and it applies to all layout tabs, all tabs in the application. So if we go to test and we go to details and select number 1, okay, we're getting an error. Let me see what is going on. Oh, I see. Since in our last example we used a list of type item, I used the syntax for the list, but this is what we expected. So let's run it. Let's run it again, and we should get the details. Test details 1. Let's. Okay, I see that I inadvertently eliminated the semicolon, and that was giving us trouble. So this is going to give us the model ID, model name. I'm sorry, the item ID, item name, and quantity. Let's see if it works. So we test and details 1. So let's try with details 2. So we're getting exactly what we expected to get. Okay, so ID number 2 is cheese, quantity 8, and that's precisely what we have here. Okay. Yeah, one thing to notice is that if we were to type an ID of 4, it's going to give us an error, and we're not going to do this here, but there are some filters that we need to include in the controller here in case there's a problem, what to do. We're not going to do it now, but that's something to be aware of. So far we've seen how to create a controller, and how to create actions inside of controllers, and how to create views based on or as support to those actions. Like in the case of details, we have our CSHTML view that supports the test controller. We saw how to transfer strongly typed data between the controller and the view, and how to manipulate that data. We saw it here, we saw it in the home controller. Was it in the index of the home controller, where we loop using a for each statement through the model, which in this case was a list of type item, and we present the all of the items in our model. We also briefly saw how to make the layout available to our views. We will talk about the layout in another video, but this render body, this is where the body of the view is going to go, and there are some other sections that we're going to be talking about. And here's the reference to that layout. So we have barely scratched the surface of what a view is, but it gives you an idea of how a controller interacts with the view that supports it, and with the data model present in the system. We'll be looking at more stuff in the next video. Thank you.